few minutes, I'll introduce Mark. We'll get going with a presentation about traffic safety culture, and then it'll be y'all's time to do some work and have some fun this morning. Woo! Five. Just five.
It was like, get out of here.
All right. Sounds good. Let's see. They were getting through a good bit, yeah. Let's see if I can get a refresh on it.
You can go over the answers.
It's gonna like highlight them. And then when you come on, awesome. We still have a little bit more room if you want to participate in our Mentimeter questions. If you haven't gotten to the last ones, we could use some help there. Also, don't skip ahead to the other QR code on your, just do the first one. Don't skip ahead. Good morning again, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out this morning. I really appreciate it. If I haven't met you yet, my name's Sarah Nastasi. We're really excited to be able to have this session this morning. This is a session kind of hybrid with our safety committee, so we do have some online friends that are joining us, so we're piloting to see how this goes. This morning we're going to dive into traffic safety results now, and then I will pass it off to Mark for a presentation, and like I said, then y'all will be off to the races to work. So, how do you define safety? Seeing some similarities here, a lot of references to, looks like Vision Zero, no fatal and injury crashes, avoiding human injuries, comfortable and stress-free environment, which allows the user to recover from any mistakes. That's really in line with our safe systems approach and our guiding principles there. When we're looking at whose responsibility it is to foster traffic safety, most popular answer is everyone, also prominent engineers. I think that's fitting that we're here today, but I also like that we're seeing some responses of other stakeholders within our system. So I see government, citizens, parents and teachers, policymakers, DOTs, people. Are we being effective in reducing fatalities and serious injuries? Why or why not? This is maybe the harder one that you got to start thinking about this morning. Seeing some mixed responses. I like that I think this group is thinking very critically. There have been some wins, but I would agree we have a long way to go. I think nationally we're at about 40,000 traffic fatalities a year, and that's far, far too many. I think it really is, I think what we'll touch on today, a bit of a public health problem. We need to reduce those numbers. We shouldn't be okay with 40,000, that's far too many. What are the barriers to us reaching the target of 0 crash fatalities? Funding, money, also kind of funding, speeds.
Hey Sarah, we just got a message asking if you were sharing on Teams.
I can. I will now. Thank you. This is a great pilot feedback. Note to presenter, remember to share screen. I'm guessing y'all can see it online now. Cool, perfect. So funding, distracted driving, politics, acceptance. I think that's a very interesting answer, and we'll kind of tie in what we'll talk about today. We're really going to dive into culture. We might get a little bit further from some of your engineer equations today, but it's just as important. On traffic safety, no fatalities, Vision Zero, yes, every user, less severe crashes, lower speeds. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for participating in those questions this morning. That's kind of to get us in the mindset of traffic safety. We'll be interested to see, if we learn, if we have any other perspectives at the end of this session. So I will now introduce Mark Doctor. He's going to give a presentation on traffic safety culture, and then we'll do our breakout activity. So Mark is a principal design engineer with Gresham Smith. Prior to joining Gresham Smith last month in June 2025, Mark retired from a 37-year career with the Federal Highway Administration. Throughout his career, Mark has been a champion for advancing safety considerations into project designs. In recent years, he has worked to advance the understanding of the safe systems approach and provide transportation practitioners with tools and strategies for practical applications of safe systems principles. While at FHWA, Mark was also part of the team that developed the organizational safety culture self-assessment. So give a warm welcome to Mark. We're really excited to have him this morning.
Thank you. All right, good morning, everybody. Great to see so many people here. This for the last session, either your family is still sleeping, right, until you had nothing else to do, or you really need the 2 hours of PDHs, right? But no, I'm glad you're here. We want to make this exciting. We want to make this invigorating. Again, I'm Mark Doctor, recently with Gresham Smith, but have a good background with this concept of safety culture. And it's a little nebulous, and so I want to, hopefully this will help explain it. But before we do that, hopefully you've now been fed and caffeinated. So now we'd like you to get up and do a little moving around. So if you notice on the walls, we've got 5 choices. I'm going to put up some statements, and with those statements, you can either strongly agree with that statement, agree, kind of be neutral, disagree, or strongly disagree. So, for example, and yeah, we're good here. Related to distraction, is it okay to check an email when you're at a red light? You're at a signal, you're stopped, light's red, you just get the phone, you check an email. So come on, everybody stand up. Everybody, this is being recorded. But hey, Vegas rules, right? What happens in the room stays in the room. So is it okay? Do you strongly disagree? Well, look at that, come on. No one's going to strongly agree? Wow. So, this is impressive. This is impressive. It tells me that one of 2 things is happening. Either we have a very strong safety culture, or we're all a bunch of liars. No. Oh, okay. No, this is impressive. All right, so, and it is good to kind of have this dispersion that's actually better than I thought. So, yeah, in all honesty, I would be there too.
It doesn't say you're driving.
Right, you're stopped. You light. And I admit I have done this. And okay, I almost took my foot off the brake. All right, so what happens? I kind of impact the car in front of me at a low speed. Yeah, I'm going to mess up my car. I'm going to be really mad at myself for being so stupid. But is anyone going to get hurt? Probably not, right? Now, if I had to rephrase this question, is it okay to check an email or to text while you're driving at 70 miles an hour on the connector or on a freeway? No, right. I mean, that's right. So there's degrees, but I am very impressed with the level of safety culture. All right, let's go to the next one. Driving 5 miles an hour over the speed limit is no big deal. Oh boy, look at this shift. Driving 5 miles over the speed limit is no big deal. 8 over. So, a significant shift. Wow. Okay. So, 5 miles an hour over, no big deal. What if I'd have said 10 miles an hour or 15 miles an hour? At what point would you start gravitating back over? So this tells us a couple of things, right? Our speed limits, or the way we set speed limits, does it even matter what number gets posted on the sign? So, yeah. I think speed is a big topic, big issue. I think we got a lot of challenges. We're going to talk about that. But this is kind of interesting how everyone's kind of gravitated that 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, no big deal. If I'd have said 15, would you be moving? Okay. All right. That's good. That's good. All right. Next question. If it's only a short drive home, it's okay to have a few alcoholic drinks. Few, so more than one. A few, 2, 3. All right, all right. We got people moving. More than two. Couple. All right. This is good. Seeing a gravitation. Yeah, get your exercise in. Getting your morning steps in. All right, great. Define few. Yeah, exactly. He was intentionally vague. Intentionally vague. Well, this is good. We hope that this example of how we think about safety, what our belief system is, glad to see a lot of the gravitation toward the strongly agree. And I'm assuming the neutral folks is just because there's no room over there, right? All right. Yeah, what does a few mean? Let's say 2 or more. All right. And last one. So occupant protection. A seatbelt is needed for everyone on every trip. Every person on every trip. Oh, this is interesting. This is interesting. Wow. All right, good. Good. Gravitating back. Nice. Excellent. Excellent. So again, a good indication of a strong safety culture. You know, nationally, about 90% of people in vehicles are buckled up. That's good. So there's like 1 in 10 people that for whatever reason, we're having a hard time moving that number. It's a stubborn 10% target. But of the fatalities, the traffic fatalities that occur nationally, about half of the fatalities are people who are unbuckled. That is just, that shows you the power of the life-saving ability of something as simple as just buckling up. It's only 1 in 10 people that don't buckle up, but they're about half of the people that are getting killed on the road. It's really about crash kinetic energy. And yeah, okay. So, wow, okay, we got 2 that disagree. I'm curious, what is it that, about the statement that you disagree with? You got, okay. Sir?
A short trip on a low-speed road and back seat.
Okay, all right. So if it's a short trip, back seat, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, and we're going to talk about safety culture. And part of that safety culture, I'll use my wife as an example. Even for a short trip, even for something relatively low speed, she will keep it in park. And everyone has to buckle up. And she's done this, and I'm very proud of her because I watch her do it. They're like, oh, we're not going very far. Oh, we're not going very fast. She will not put it in drive until everyone's buckled up. And it just kind of, even though, okay, maybe the risk is lower, right? But it's just that mentality. Buckle up every time, every trip. Yeah. Very good. All right, well, thank you. Thank you very much for getting your morning exercise in. It's a little indication of the strong safety culture in this room. That's very, very impressive. So when I say safety culture or traffic safety culture, what comes to mind? What is it? Is it about public attitudes and beliefs on road safety? Yeah, that's part of it. Is it about our organizations, our agencies, and the types of decisions that we make as agencies, both big and small? It doesn't necessarily have to be all about funding, but funding can be part of it. How do we prioritize decisions as an agency, and how strong of a safety culture does that represent? And also, it's really about enhancing collaboration, coordination among all stakeholders. So one of the Menti questions that Sarah had up there is about who's involved, and it really is all of us. So a good definition, or a definition that I like to clearly define safety culture, is that it is the shared values, the actions and behaviors, values, actions, and behaviors that demonstrate a commitment to safety over competing goals and demands. And oftentimes a competing goal can be operations. Sometimes we focus on, okay, whether it's level of service, whether it's delay. So, for example, if if I hear things like, well, we're not going to do this lane reallocation. We're not going to take away a lane because, it's going to take us down to a level of service D. Well, yeah, okay. Or we're not going to go with a protected only left turn signal phase here. We're going to keep it protected permissive because it would drop us down to a level of service E or F at the intersection. Okay, those are the types of things that that they're maybe common decisions that we make. But if we were to hold up a mirror and look at our agency and ourselves in the mirror and say, okay, what are we prioritizing? If you take it a simple equation, safety and operations, what are we prioritizing? So sometimes it is taking a hard look at ourselves and making that determination. Are we truly prioritizing safety over other competing interests? And there will always be competing interests. It's great to have a win-win, but oftentimes it is about shifting balances. So an organizational safety culture, it is about things that we can do within our organization, the decisions that we make. How proactive are we at trying to elevate safety? And it's the talk, the way we communicate to employees is part of it, but it also comes down a lot of times to the actions within our organization. And I'll give you another example. So another behavior is, in addition to, say, texting with our devices while we're driving, how many people have taken a phone call or participated in a Teams meeting while you're actually moving in the vehicle? And I will admit that I had done that a couple of times until I actually had a boss, a supervisor, who, when you're on a Teams meeting, and it's hard to hide the fact that you're driving, especially if you got your camera on. It's like, are you in a car, doctor? Are you driving? And my boss actually, made me exit the meeting. It's like, if you can't, because I was on the interstate and I couldn't just pull over. So hang up, and if you can get to a rest area and dial back in, fine. But he actually made me hang up on the spot. That, to me, was a strong example of leadership, a strong example of a commitment to safety culture. Just to let our employees know, it's not okay for you to participate on a Teams call while you're driving. And not that he called me out, not that it was, but it changed my behavior. It changed my behavior. I won't do that again. So that's just a small example of how an organization, or even a person, a supervisor, a leader within an organization, sets the tone or leads by example. So there are a lot of other examples of what we mean by a strong organizational safety culture. And this publication, relatively new, came out last year. It is an organizational safety culture self-assessment. So by self-assessment, it's not that an organization has to do everything, but it gives you a way of figuring out, okay, where are we currently? And what are some things where we can improve at? What are some areas to enhance our safety culture? So this is available online. It's a free self-assessment. There's even a spreadsheet tool to go along with it. And it's very helpful. It's helpful if you're interested in having discussions within your organization, and that you can be a private sector company, you can be public sector. It's really geared for all types of organizations and agencies. The public, the way the general public looks at safety culture, and that this is a challenge. If we just pulled randomly 100 people out of a fast food place and lined them up and asked them the same questions, would we get the same dispersion among that group? I don't know. But public safety culture, how well do people do what we hope, like wear seatbelts? I mentioned that there's that stubborn 10% of people that really still don't wear seatbelts. We hope that parents not just purchase child safety seats, but actually get them installed properly. It is surprising sometimes how it can be challenging to get those child safety seats installed right. And so there are like fire departments that will help parents properly install the seat. So even if they have a seat, doesn't necessarily mean it's installed properly. Limiting distractions and voluntarily obeying the traffic laws. To get a sense of where we are as a country with public safety culture, the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety puts out a traffic safety culture index, and they've been doing this for several years, and it just kind of measures where we are as a snapshot in time with regard to public attitude about traffic safety culture. Sarah mentioned the safe system approach, and thank you, because safety culture is related to a safe system approach. A safe system approach to me really involves some fundamental shifts in thinking about safety. It's about trying to eliminate fatalities and serious injuries, not eliminate crashes. That is a subtle distinction, but a very important distinction to understand what's different about a safe system approach. People are never going to be perfect. People are always, even whether it's distraction, impairment, speeding, whatever we're talking about, people will always have certain behaviors or make mistakes on the road that can lead to crashes. We're not out to make people perfect, because that's not achievable. What is achievable is managing the system, managing our road system so that when crashes occur, and we first have to admit that inevitably crashes will occur. We're not out to eliminate crashes. We're trying to manage the outcome of the crash to keep it survivable, to keep collision forces to levels below where harm to human beings occur. That becomes the focus. That's the fundamental shift in a safe system approach. And safety culture, to me, is, well, what's that bar that we can get up to? So, for example, speed is a big part of a safe system approach, and I think speed safety cameras are a great example of where technology can really help us advance in safety. But well, in Georgia, we're lucky to at least have the legal basis. If we were to go to some of our neighboring states, by law, they can't even implement speed safety cameras. And so as an engineer, you might say, well, that's off the table. It's not the law that is really holding us back. What's holding us back is the safety culture. The safety culture is what has caused that law to be in place. If we want to change the law, we first need to change the safety culture to allow the law to change. So safety culture is really fundamental to advancing further. It's that ceiling that you get up against. Okay, I can't implement speed safety cameras. All right, you've hit that ceiling. If you raise the safety culture, you raise the ceiling, and more becomes possible. And that's true for really all of the elements of a safe system approach. So just getting back to traffic safety culture, a really great document, a really great publication that kind of explains it all came out of Montana, from the University of Montana, the Traffic Safety Culture Primer. And to achieve our target of eliminating fatalities and serious injuries, it's necessary to create a traffic safety culture that prioritizes safety, encourages safe road behavior, and facilitates the cooperation among the stakeholders. So if we think about the system, typically we view our road operating system as we have the road itself, we have the vehicle that's on the road, and the human being, the driver or the pedestrian or the bicyclist, the human being. So usually we have those three pieces of the pie. And you may have seen this Venn diagram before. It's a famous Venn diagram that looked at data. The report came out in 1979, so it's based on a review of 1970s era crash data. And it looked at a bunch, I forget exactly how many, but it looked at a bunch of crash records and tried to draw an attribute. Was that crash because of something that the vehicle had a failure, Or was it some condition in the roadway that was the primary factor of the crash? Or was it because of the human being? And you can see, okay, 93% of crashes were in some way attributable to human error. And that statistic has just been around for the last 40 years, right? You hear it a lot. Oh, 93% of all crashes are because of human error. All right, yeah. And if we look at vehicles, okay, yeah, about 13%, and roadway factors. Just roadway factors, pretty minor, right? It's very rare that the crash was just because of something on the road. It's usually that overlap. And if you look at the 27% overlap between the driver factor and the roadway factor, I always took some comfort in that 27% overlap. And I said, okay, as an engineer, as a transportation professional, I may not be able to eliminate all crashes. Where's my sphere of influence? And I always took inspiration that, okay, 1 in 4 crashes, about 27%. Maybe there was something that could be done differently, something better with regard to the roadway that could have reduced that crash. I always liked that piece of this Venn diagram. But a new study was done and just published earlier this year. So it's based upon newer crash data. And I don't remember exactly how many crash reports or how many states, but a good chunk. So newer information tried to replicate the same thing of the crashes that occur. How many are related to human factors? How many are related to if you look at the vehicle, our vehicles have gotten safer, more reliable. I mean, yeah, you still have a tire blowout, you can still have a brake failure, but it's pretty rare. All right, now, human factors. So now we can say, oh, it's not 93% of all crashes are human factors, it's actually 95%. Well, so sadly, not much has changed in that regard. But one thing in particular I want to point out here with the newer study, look at the overlap between human factors and what's now called environmental factors, because this now includes weather. So they include weather conditions also as part of environmental factors. So it's road and weather, up to 40%. So there are things that we can do as engineers. There are things that we can do as transportation professionals to help accommodate the inevitable human error. But yes, driver behavior is a big piece of this challenge. So fatal crashes, driver behavior is often the critical reason. Driver behavior is often a deliberate choice. We choose not to put on a seatbelt. We choose to do a text while we're driving, or we choose to speed, whatever the behavior is. Driver behavior can be changed. That's the encouraging news. A little bit of psychology. I know it's early in the morning, but a little bit of psychology. Behavioral change is possible. And that traffic safety culture primer is a good way to kind of dumb down some of these psychological concepts. And it provides a model for how we can actually achieve behavioral change. So in order to improve traffic safety, we must change the behaviors, and to change behaviors, we must change beliefs. The only way to change behaviors is to really change beliefs. So beliefs, our minds form beliefs based upon our experiences, and our beliefs determine our understanding of the world. Beliefs influence our choices about behavior. And to change behavior, we must change beliefs. So, when I drove down here, I came from Atlanta and I was on I-16. Was I going over the speed limit on I-16? Oh, yeah, I see a lot of, yeah. Maybe 10 miles an hour, but hopefully not 12. But yeah, I'll admit I was probably, was I being passed by more vehicles than I was passing? I don't know, right? So yeah. So why? Why did I do that? Why did I choose that behavior? All right, so I thought about it. What were my beliefs? So one belief was, all right, traffic is pretty light. All right, if something were to happen, I'm going to veer off to the roadside. I don't have a lot of traffic around me. That was part of what's going through my head. Another thing going through my head is like, okay, I know this vehicle. I know the tires are in good shape. The weather conditions are good. These are some of the beliefs. Big belief, enforcement. I hadn't seen a law enforcement officer since I left home. No one else is getting pulled over. They're going faster than me. That was part of my belief system. That was on Sunday. Now, can my beliefs be changed? Yeah. So about 2 years ago, I took a great vacation. I went to Switzerland. And I had read in Switzerland, if you speed, you can get thrown in jail for speeding. First offense. First offense. You speed, you go to jail. Like, wow. Okay. My belief system quickly changed. I did not speed. Plus, no one else was speeding either. So, beliefs can change based upon how we perceive the world. So, just to kind of tee you up for traffic safety culture, just remember this, that it's really about, in order to change behavior, we have to change beliefs. And part of that is how we talk about safety. Years ago, we would call them accidents. They're not accidents, they're preventable. So we made a terminology change. It's a crash. It's not an accident, it's a crash. Still to this day, some people may use accident, but we need to be consistent. Our words matter. Changing behavior is what's called an adaptive challenge. As engineers, we like to deal with technical challenges. Usually there's a clear solution in place, and that solution is usually conclusive, and we can implement it as an agency. Adaptive challenges are more nebulous. So sometimes the problem is less clear, or the solutions sometimes require a trial and error. So to try different things, we also need what's sometimes called psychological safety, where it's okay to try things that may not work. Take a risk, ask questions, have an environment where if there is a negative consequence, if we invested in something and it didn't quite work, well, all right, we learned something. It's not that it was a failure. We invested in learning something that we can use going forward. So to solve this challenge does require being a little different, non-traditional approaches. Instead of just creating different traffic laws or throwing more money at the problem, sometimes it's simple things that we can do ourselves. Create family rules. Talked about my wife not putting it in drive unless everyone's buckled up. But have that be part of what you teach your kids when you drive. And kids are amazing in terms of what they pick up on. We don't even know what they pick up on, but they'll notice if you're speeding. They probably notice your behavior behind the wheel, even if we're not conscious of it. Having our organization, as a boss, don't allow your employees to participate in a Teams meeting if they're driving. All of these are examples of some of these non-traditional approaches. So growing traffic safety culture, it's a process. It's not a one and done. It's not implementing a particular countermeasure. It's a process. And that's part of what our group activity is going to achieve. It's not a single intervention, but generalized steps. And we hope as groups that each group is going to tackle a specific problem. I'll turn it over to Sarah for some more instructions. But we hope that today's activity is really an opportunity for you to think about how you can start being a change agent. And whether you're a change agent within your own family, with your friends, your neighbors, and hopefully also your organization, it really takes all of us to make a difference. So with that, Sarah, I'm going to turn it back to Sarah to kick us off with this activity. All right,
Can we give Mark a round of applause? All right. Well, now it's y'all's turn. So we're going to have about, let's see, I will give y'all until, I think we'll do 9:20. So you'll have about 30 minutes because I'm going to talk here for a few minutes. So you'll have about 30 minutes. as you are sitting at your tables, you will see that you have a sheet that looks like this, and it's kind of instructions for our activity. Now, you've each been assigned one of those 4 risky driver behaviors that we warmed up with the agree and disagree questions, and your job is to think about a new, innovative way to grow traffic safety culture around that behavior. So we have some questions on the sheet to help kind of guide you in the process. So first, we're going to think about planning and advocating. What is your target driver behavior? Easy, it's on your sheet. You should all have the same one. If you don't, let me know, but each table should have the same one. Tables will have different behaviors. Who are your key stakeholders? What communities could you target? You heard Mark give some examples of growing traffic safety culture already today, either whether at the family level, at the organizational level. If you want to think big, you can think about your DOT, your private company, or you can think small. You can think your church group, your run club, your family. You don't have to solve the world's problems today, but we want you to find an area of impact and plan and advocate on how to change that behavior. And you kind of already know maybe where the behavior of some groups might stand based off of our activity today. Like, for example, I think we had pretty strong traffic safety culture when it came to impaired driving and seatbelt use. Is that the same for maybe, people who are younger, people who are older? Do your friends at your run club feel the same way? Or is that, unique to this group? Is there another group that you could impact to change their beliefs? So assess, kind of talked about that, determine what that belief is that you want to change. Existing strategies in place. So we already have some great examples around our industry. There's the Keep Georgia Safe campaign, the Georgia IT STEAM Camp, that's, targeting young kids. GDOT has safe driving summits. I'm sure there's more, but those are some examples. Those may be on the bigger scale. So that's, you can also tailor that down again to family, run club, those types of communities. Identify new strategies. This is probably where it gets maybe a little bit more creative and a little bit harder. But you can think of things like community engagement, media and messaging, product partnerships, policy. So you heard some policy examples today. STEAM Camp, you can think maybe more community engagement. We'll be wandering around too. If you get stumped, you can ask us questions, but I hope we have some ideas going on, and then at the end, you're gonna pitch to our safety sharks. So think Shark Tank. You're gonna have 2 minutes, and you're gonna try to sell them on why your strategy is the best. We will have a winner from each category, and then we'll have an overall winner for the day, and you will get prizes. So there is incentive. For this activity, you'll see that if you're here in the room, you have some markers on your table. I didn't put all the sheets out yet, but we have poster boards, like sticky note tabs up here. So you can use that to help brainstorm. If you want to make yourself a prop, I don't know, you got 30 minutes, so you can decide how you want to use your time, but we have some brainstorming paper. If you come and get paper, I will do you a nice trade, and if you would bring your like candle and salt and pepper shakers and put them up nicely so we can keep them nice for the hotel, then you can take back paper, we can do a little trade. But yeah, so y'all will have work time until 9:20, and online folks, I haven't forgotten about you. I'm gonna send you to breakout rooms here in a few minutes once those in the room get started. But I guess before I release you, does anyone have any really burning questions? Cool. All right. Well, get to it. Thank you. Oh, and if you want to do a fun team name, you can definitely do a fun team name as well. Your judges will be looking for innovative solutions and creativity and the ability to sell your pitch. no, let me see if I can, oh my gosh. Did y'all make that? Did y'all make that? Oh my gosh, really? I didn't even think about that. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. All right, we're going to get started here with our first presentation. So as you can see, we have a microphone set up over on the left side of the room. There is a computer there. It's just hopefully so our online folks can hear, but again, you'll have 2 minutes to give your presentation, and I will have a timer, and I will hold you to it, and we will go pretty quick. So we'll start from the left of the room and snake our way. Once the first group is done, please be ready to send up your representatives. Again, we have 3 wonderful safety sharks for you this morning. They will be choosing a winner for each risky behavior, and they will be choosing an overall winner, which will get a prize. All right, first group, you're up.
All right. Are we ready? Oh, I need the paper. Are we starting? Okay, so our target behavior was speeding and aggressive driving, and we felt strongly that we should start this very young. We should go to schools. We should outreach to kids in elementary school, basically K through elementary school's 5th grade. We should try to get them to, understand that speeding is very bad. Some of the ideas that we came up to was to, I think Cobb County has one. The public safety village, things like taking them to that sort of venue and showing them, how to interact with traffic and everything, but also, what happens whenever you speed, showing them maybe, scaring them a little bit with, what does it look like when you get into a wreck when you're going too fast, or, or something more basic that doesn't scare them, like a kinetic energy sort of demonstration. If these 2 things come together at a reasonable speed, they don't really get damaged, and it's not too bad. But if these things come together very quickly, then they can break. And then some of the other ideas we had were to try to partner with do something, I guess, sort of national, that's like a partnership with a popular kids TV show, and try to create a PSA with like Disney or some cartoon. I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't know what except Baby Shark or something like that. And Paw Patrol, there we go, and try to create a PSA that's targeted to kids. Whenever I was a kid, I remember like Smokey the Bear and like the electric little lightning bug that was like, don't touch down power lines. But I don't really remember seeing things for speeding. And these kids, they pick up things from their parents. Their parents speed. They don't know that it's bad because their parents are doing it. So start getting them young. All right. Did I use the 2 minutes yet?
Yes. I don't know. We had echoing, so I don't have my screen up right now, but perfect timing.
All right,
you actually probably were perfect.
Thank you.
If you're presenting and you're really worried about time, I'll give you like 2 hands for 10 seconds. All right, next group. Let's do far back corner.
Terminal problem, I swear. I have to shorten every microphone like that. Anyway, so we were given distracted driving, and our target audience in this case was young drivers, people who grew up or came of age, started driving while all of these notifications, this media was surrounding them. And the real problem is that we don't know how to multitask. It doesn't really work. So our target audience that we really honed in on was going to be college-age drivers, new students, and we honed in this case at Georgia Tech because enough. Yeah, I was going to say Georgia Tech students, because enough of us are Georgia Tech students or alums that it just really hits close to home for us. So what we came up, or the belief that we wanted to really hone in on, is that multitasking is a little too difficult, far too risky to really be done safely, and there's a cost behind all of that. And the way that we want to tackle that is hitting them right where the distractions are. A social media campaign, where else better if they're going to have their attention on it. And to do that, really drive home the point that this short attention span, multitasking, is a problem. We could turn to the king of short form media, TikTok. It would be like a social media campaign through tech, through the engineering department, things like that. And when, in addition to all of that, we would have like flyers, Instagram posts, things around campus and all that, to really show that there is a danger and a cost to all this. And since we're targeting incoming students, if anyone remembers GT 1000 or freshman seminar, you would have like a demonstration of all this. Say you're trying to do some engineering drafting, and on the one hand, you're doing it fine all by yourself. On the other, you're like getting blasted with notifications, videos, or trying to answer some questions while also scribbling out like the drawing that you have to do perfectly. You can't do that. You can't do distracted driving.
Time. All right, next group.
Hello, everybody. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. Okay. So our target driver behavior was impaired driving, and our target community that we wanted to impact was teen and young drivers. So anyone under the legal age of drinking, which is 21 years old. Some of the existing local beliefs that we wanted to first identify was that people, or young people especially, their frontal lobe hasn't developed yet. So they have this belief that they either will not get caught or the risks of being caught aren't as severe as someone who's older and has more to lose. So that's one, their overconfidence in their driving ability if they are impaired. And then also their family history with drinking. Did they grow up in an environment where they saw their uncles and family members drinking a lot, or if they grew up in a family that was more strict as regarding drinking. So what are their personal family history beliefs about that? So the main thing was that we wanted to target them young and early and change their beliefs about impaired driving, whether it's drinking, recreational drug use, or anything like that. And some of the things we talked about was hearing testimonials from family members of people affected by people who were either driving drunk or were killed by drunk drivers. And also with young drivers, of course, social media outreach. So we thought about opportunities to reach out to influencers as well as streamers and different things like that, to target certain campaigns about it not being cool to drink and drive, or just impairment in general, like using drugs and different things like that. So we could potentially, of course, with streamers, they have those 24-hour streams or different types of parties and things for influencers, kind of showcasing to the younger generation that, it's not cool, or you can have fun without drinking and driving, or, using drugs or different things like that. I'm done? Oh,
10 seconds.
Oh, okay, yeah. So just changing their beliefs about, drinking and driving or having fun doing those different types of activities without having to be impaired. We want to target them there and change their beliefs. So, thank you.
All right, next group. It might be a slight delay because I'll have to plug in because we're having some trouble, but I'm ready. You just let me know.
Hi, Sharks. Distracted driving is a nationwide epidemic, threatening pets, drivers, and wildlife. Reels, TikTok, and texting is an emerging threat. A new campaign is needed to fight the epidemic and save the nation.
What we propose is a nationwide campaign using a mascot that everybody will know, like Smokey the Bear, like any of those other mascots that you know so well, like the Geico lizard, right? Or gecko. You know what he is. So what we have here is an image Go ahead.
It's in. Wait for it.
Sharks, we propose Dan the donkey, the distracted donkey. And we're going to flood the marketplace with Dan the distracted donkey. We're going to target middle schoolers and high schoolers. And we even have an ad that we've already developed that describes what we're trying to reduce, and that is distracted driving. And so what we're asking for is just a mere $200 million and you get a stake of this, you know, like everybody who survives, you get some money. I don't know. But that is our pitch. And don't be an ass.
All right, next group. For no reason whatsoever, we might have it fixed to the audio, so you might get to see your timers now.
All right. Good morning. So we were addressing speeding, and so our communities, our neighborhoods, and schools, our thoughts were most cars have GPS now. So as you're entering a school zone or a specific community, the community can decide, hey, we want this speed limit restricted. We don't want people going 5 or 10 or 15 miles per hour over. So once you hit that limit, your car will start beeping at you, kind of like if you're not wearing a seatbelt. You're going to start getting that beep, 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 beep. And then if that's not working, our thought was a governor, so your car cannot go over that speed limit. That's a little bit more intense, but that's what we were thinking. Automated speed enforcement, and then also that's kind of our stick approach, and then a carrot approach would be to have some like motivational programs, rewards for following these speed limits in specific areas that are selected. Okay. Yeah.
Well, hello, everyone. So our topic was impaired driving. Our idea is this, we want to think big. We want to actually influence driving culture and culture in general. And our idea is a partnership with Uber, state-sponsored partnership with rideshare apps like Uber. Imagine you're at a bar and you're like, should I drive? Should I Uber? Well, in the Uber app, they could have a little game built in. You open up the app, and it's sort of a reaction time game. And if you lose, well, then you know you're impaired, because often we don't know that we're impaired. When we've had 4, we still feel confident, and we think, I got this. So Uber you play this game, you check your reaction time, you find out, actually, I am pretty impaired, and then you Uber. And if you do, then you go into, there's incentives and there's prizes. This is where the state-funded part would begin. The state would help provide money. Celebrities would provide concert tickets, probably for free. So it could be a pretty low-cost idea. Uber would love it. They're promoting people to use Uber. It's educational, so they're giving back to the community in a way. And then the last part is the education of the program is done when you're in Uber. There's there's oftentimes screens. Drivers will have screens. And so a little commercial could play, which is educating people about not drinking and driving, and also about the game and about how they should Uber more instead of drinking and driving. So kind of win-win for everybody. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. So the challenge that we identified was around driver behavior around seat belts, use of seat belts, and car seats. The community that we have targeted is educating through schools and also educating lower income people, people who are set in their ways, maybe older people, and spreading awareness around using seat belts. Robinson has a wonderful representation of that over here.
So we're gonna have a graphic hand drawn by Mike Holt and myself. It's just a first draft, okay? But no, seriously, we were going for something more universal. No words in case people don't speak English. Also, we're gonna target lower income areas because our thought was older cars, probably don't have the best equipment, technology, things like that. So we're trying to be really strategic with it and maximize the safety enhancement. So there you go. Also a lot of bright colors for all the kids, so there you go. All right, thank you.
All right, next group. I think we have 3 more. Okay, cool. Perfect.
All right, our target objective was focusing on speeding and aggressive driving, and we really feel that that needs to start with us in our industry. So we're going to focus on our company and our coworkers, and we would like to pilot a program within one of our offices to use what is it called? AVL in vehicles that would be an opt-in program, but instead of focusing on consequences for people not following what we consider as safe driving and less aggressive driving, we're going to focus on the positives. So incentivizing them to drive appropriately with maybe PTO, extra PTO days, or if for those of you who have unlimited PTO, maybe a reduced utilization rate so that you can actually take advantage of that excessive PTO that you have. Or even financial incentives. So you'd really have to discuss with the group that you're working with what's going to motivate them into participating. So we would include these in company vehicles, but you could also opt in your personal vehicles, maybe choosing between work hours only or all the time with different incentive tiers within that. So we didn't actually set up the structure. But we would market this to our company internally through our internal website, brochures, company posting on social media to brag that our company is doing this, and even coming up with cost benefits of the program to the company, because we really feel that the reduced liability and reduced crashes is going to have a financial incentive to the company.
Good morning. All right, our topic is neglect of occupant protection. Let me start and say, we picked child safety and seatbelt safety for children. It all starts with the adult in the room or in the car. It's not about you, the driver. Our target is the new parents and existing parents with new cars and old cars. Our thoughts are, and our target is to maintain correct and correctly installed child seats in vehicles. We all know it starts with a newborn child seat is inspected, and then it's left to the parent to learn or not to know how to install or pick the next seat. There's no services known to us, parents, on how to pick and how to install. There's the internet, but we all know what the internet can offer sometimes. Misleading information. Our ideas include add free services at fire stations. Our firefighters often are trained to install and pick the right seat for your child, age appropriate, weight appropriate, and other condition appropriate. Sometimes your cars are too old to actually be fit for a modern car seat. There's modifications needed to install those. I was creative in doing mine at some point in my 1990s vehicle. We like to introduce education opportunities for other parents. We like to pitch to our municipal leaders to fund education specialists. And also ideas such as rolling down windows during a hot day if a baby is detected in the car. Anyway, thank you so much.
We'll have one online group that I'm going to attempt to put on the screen.
Okay, distracted drivers, target audience, high school, college kids. Because as you know, they think multitasking is easy. They're invincible. It'll be fine. I'll be okay. I'm a great driver. Nothing bad will happen to me. So, sharks, this is your time. You have the next 5 minutes. $10 million for a 10% stake in car mode technologies. Car mode technologies is a wonderful new innovation where the owner of the account syncs the car with the phone, and the car will not operate if said phone is texting or the keypad to make a phone call. It'll be disabled. And you can package it with the dash cam package, which not only faces out where you're driving, but it faces into the cabin of the vehicle. And it's got this incredible knucklehead mode that if the people in the car are being knuckleheads, an alert is sent to the owner of the account, which is probably the parent. Super great technology. It's very innovative. It also has this wonderful feature that if the driver's eating, it senses that and will send an alert. Okay? It's kind of like the knucklehead mode, right? But the car will operate. The car, you can set the feature to get incoming calls from, say, a parent that you can answer, hands-free, right? That's important. So those are the features that you're able to turn on and turn off. The account owner has the ability to set up all those features. I got 19 seconds. It's really very innovative. I think I may have mentioned that. What else? Oh, you can still track them, like Life 360. You can still track that feature. Okay, it doesn't turn off. So you can see them, you can watch them. They can't operate the vehicle if they do knucklehead things.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all. We're going to try to get our online group here to share. We had one online group. Jonathan, will you give me a thumbs up when you're muted? Oh. Well, my adapter doesn't fit. Let's see.
Hello?
Hello? Can y'all talk online?
Yeah, test. 1, 2.
All right, okay. I'm gonna share my screen with what y'all shared. If you want to come on camera, you're welcome to, but I will have your image up. If not, wait for it, pending. Maybe I Maybe I tried to get too technologically advanced.
There it is.
All right, online group, ready, set, go.
Okay. So, thanks, yeah. So every day we lose lives to preventable traffic incidents, speeding, reckless driving, distracted behavior. But here's the truth. Safety isn't about enforcement, it's about culture. And right now, our culture rewards speeding, convenience, and distraction. So we're here to flip that change driver behavior. Drive Together. Drive Together is a mobile platform that's going to turn communities that exist around your area into safety-driven sort of, I've lost my train of thought here. Now, Drive Together is a mobile platform. We're going to have great features to it. It's going to have a community dashboard. Think of all those speed feedback signs, for example. You can see the speeding in your neighborhood. Also shares speeding statistics with all your neighbors. Looks for local rewards from local partnerships. Free coffee for not speeding for a week is a good example. Also could maybe tie into your sort of insurance monitoring apps as well. We'll have inter-community challenges where cities and neighborhoods can compete for the safest streets. And we'll also have a platform in there where you can advocate for safer projects, sign petitions, and maybe even submit tickets for unsafe conditions to your public works department. I think that's it. Anybody in my group can join in too, but I think that's all we got.
Awesome, thank y'all. All right, we're gonna start to close out here and get y'all out of here, but obviously our sharks just heard a lot of great presentations, so they need some time to deliberate. While they are deliberating here, if you look back at your table, or if you look, once it gets up, or I guess we have one screen, with the QR code, you can take a look at those after questions. Would really love to see, if you have any different thoughts or feelings, different insights after working with all the people at your tables, hearing from our presenters today. Additionally to that, we have the Fast Focus driving game. You can find it online or at that link below. You're welcome to play that. If you come to me with I'll have hands raised at the end. Highest score in the distracting driving game will get a prize. So we'll give our sharks here about 10 minutes. While they're deliberating, y'all can take a look at the after questions or the distracted driving game. Distracted driving game will have a prize for the highest score. I didn't plan that. Oh no. Well, y'all have the Mentimeter questions. Discuss amongst yourselves. Give our sharks just a few more minutes. speeding and aggressive driving.
Can we give, is the best overall effort to be like the best within the four?
All right, everyone. Our Sharks have informed me that they have come to a final decision, so I will turn it over to them in just a few minutes. But before I did that, I just want to thank all of y'all for showing up this morning. We're really ecstatic with how many of you are here. I hope you had a fun time. I had fun. I also hope you've kind of maybe more so realize that you really have an impact on our traffic safety culture. And I think I heard a lot of great discussion yesterday. Actually, I was kind of reflecting on the career development panel that we had, and why come to summer seminar, why encourage your younger members to be a part of Georgia ITE. And I think I was just reflecting, and I was realizing, and I think we all know it, but this is a community as well. We are a huge driver for traffic safety culture in our industry. This is a space for us to bounce ideas off of each other, to encourage each other to become more aligned and strengthen our own traffic safety, and then, like Mark mentioned, be those agents of change. So I hope you really walk away with that, knowing that you are agent in change at your desk in the field, but you're also an agent in change in those other communities that you touch. I also hope maybe you think about making a little personal pledge or something with your family. Maybe it's driving 3 miles per hour slower on your way home. If you're carpooling, giving your buddy your phone and they can, help direct or answer any texts. Small things like that, I think make a really big difference. And we all do a lot of great work, but you also have a farther reach than you know. So with that, I'll go ahead and let our Sharks share the winners. And thank you so much. And after that, we'll do closing remarks, and y'all get home safe.
Okay, can you hear me? Good deal. All right, this was really tough. The judges, we had a hard time, so thank you for some really great presentations, some really great ideas. Took a lot of great notes. It really was difficult. But in the category of distracted driving, the group 10, the last group, the Carmo Technologies group. Yeah, so $10 million. It really is a great idea. Those technologies really exist. It's just a matter of, as a society, do we have the safety culture to actually, there we go, to actually make it implementable. Now it worked. Okay, so congratulations for group 10. For impaired driving, we really like the idea of partnering with Uber and having a, what is it? Oh, group 6. I'm sorry, I'm looking the wrong way. Group 6, yes, right there. Great idea. Very innovative. Having that reaction game to kind of let people know, hey, maybe I'm more impaired than I thought. Excellent. I think there's a lot of great potential there. There's an education component. So yes, great job with impaired driving there. Excellent. Help me out. Who do we? Oh, for seat belts. Yes, seat belts. Group 7 that had that picture. That. Yeah. We're giving you the just so that we can see it again, because we're still trying to figure out what the heck it is. But anyway, there's potential there. Don't know what it is, but there's potential there. So yeah, we would like to invest several $1 million to have you enhance that graphic. And excellent. And for the category of speeding, and also the winner of best overall pitch goes to the group, where's it, group 8? Group 8. The incentives within your company, that was brilliant. Yeah, no, it's scalable. You can implement it and just scale it up. As Sharks, we really like the scalability feature. So well done, very creative, excellent ideas. And thanks to everyone, because those were really brilliant thoughts. Thanks, everybody, great.
Our winning group there in the back, at the end, you will come up and give me your email address. We will get you a gift card for your prize.
quick closing remark from Andrew Park for next year's conference chair, and we'll head home.
Robinson and Mike's artwork is going to go to the scholarship auction, so if anyone has a $20 bill hanging around, I think that's probably what it's worth here. So thanks everybody for coming. This was a great session, really great conference, and looking forward to everything next year. So look forward to being here next year, seeing everybody here, and probably a few more people. So thanks.